Has there ever been a figure for you guys that has just been so extremely hard to find and so elusive in stores that you basically give up hope on finding him until you get that little minuscule grain of hope that it will come through? Because for me, that is Origins Mossman, because this guy was non-existent in my part of Southern California, that I had to get my sister, who lives all the way across the country, to grab one for me. But as you can see, luckily, I ended up with a Mossman, and he is going to be the subject of today's Deceptibot 9 reviews. Let's get mossy! How's it going, everyone? Deceptibot 9 here, and thank you, as always, for coming to another episode of Deceptibot 9 Reviews. Before we go ahead and take a look at Mossman, I'd like to ask, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button. Plus, while you're down there, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, because it does really truly mean a lot to me. Plus, if you want to stay tuned for all the future content I've got planned, go ahead, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Plus, all of my social links are in the description down below, as well as my Entertainment Earth affiliate link for all of your upcoming Masters of the Universe or any other figures that you would like to get. Go ahead and check them out from Entertainment Earth. Help me out a little bit. And guys, it's time to go ahead, head down to the review station and take a look at Origins Mossman, something I never thought I would say. And just because it's exclusive, before we actually look at Mossman himself, I just want to do a quick show off of the packaging, because it is really neat, and it is exclusive and special, quote unquote. So coming in up here first, you can see this beautiful art of Mossman himself. And another little dude hanging out in the back. I don't know what he's about, but I like him. You can see Eternia, of course, hanging out in the back here. For all my people who backed Eternia, I hope you guys get it soon. I don't think we've really heard many updates, which it's been a long time since that thing dropped, so they better do an update soon. Mossman, Heroic Spy and Master of Camouflage. There's a little cool Praetorian pterodactyl guy up there. Here, obviously, is where Mossman was packaged. We got the Retro Play Collector's Edition. Moss-like fur, that's true. Smells like pine, that is also actually true. Coming over here to the side, we get the Brontosaurus guy. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he's super cool. I would love to get him in Origins. I don't get the playsets or anything. I would get him for sure. On the back, beautiful full card artwork here of Mossman with the yellow armor all sorted up there, his other weapon hanging out, and the two snake men that were previously featured on Lady Slither's box. If we look on the other side, more details. Look on the bottom. Legal jargon, who cares? And of course, really quick, before we get to the figure again, I do want to point out, of course, he does come with a mini comic about Mossman fighting the Snake Men. Yes, the Snake Men are trying to reclaim one of their old ships, and Mossman is trying to protect the world with He-Man from the Snake Invaders. So that is super cool. Again, I love this art here on the front. It's very reminiscent of the accessory they gave us with the Masterverse Mossman from the first wave, which I do wish they kind of replicated on Origins, but totally understand why they didn't. So enough of that. And here is Mossman and all of his accessories in all of his glory, and I'm so happy that I have this guy. I'm so happy that I finally have him. Again, shout out to my sister. Thank you for hooking me up. But yeah, here is Mossman with everything that he comes with. If you don't know, why is he coming with yellow Beastman armor? We'll talk about that when we get there. But overall, here he is. Let's go ahead, take a closer look at the details on Mossman himself. Alright, so we'll come up and start first with the head sculpt, because that's where the most actual detail in the figure is. You can see he's got his teeth nice and painted, black in the middle there of the mouth, and the nose is all molded up here. Big old nose with the eyes painted in. This is, of course, the Beastman head, the standard Beastman head that they gave us on the first wave Origins figure, and you can see he's got moss all over the place. It's so nice to feel. It's very soft. I really enjoy it a lot. And I mean, details-wise, there's not really much else to talk about with the Mossman, because he is mossy all the way through. You can kind of see the vague outline of his abs and everything, and the muscles through all the fur, but it's mostly fur. But it looks great. I will not deny that it looks fantastic, and I absolutely love it. You can see his hand over here, just a standard splayed out Origins Beastman hand. You get a yellow belt here in the middle with a loincloth right there. This grippy hand is very interesting. I think it's a Man-at-Arms hand because it's got little claw detail molded into it, which is interesting for Mossman. But yeah, and then he's got legs that are covered in fur, and he's got back muscles that are covered in fur. Again, it's all fur. There's nothing really to say about that with Mossman. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the accessories one by one. All right, so first he comes with 2 weapons. He comes with this big mace flail thing, which, yes, will fit into the hand and put it however way you like it. I love this accessory for Mossman. I think it's really, really cool. And then he also has this sort of staff weapon thingy, club. I guess it's probably a club, done up in all brown. You can put that in his hand there as well if you want to give him any type of weapons. And to go along with that, he comes with an alternate hand so that if you would like to have 2 weapons at the same time, you just pull out that open hand. It's a little bit of a tight connection, at least on mine, and put in that other closed hand. So one hand can hold the big mace, one hand can hold the big club. Well, one hand can, oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about my hands on my Mossman, but they are a little loosey-goosey when it comes to holding these weapons, but you can get him to hold both of those weapons. And I gotta admit, that is a really, really cool look. But I enjoy the open, splayed out hand because it gives me sort of the branches growing out from his hand kind of vibe that I like to have with Mossman. I like it when he interacts with the plants and uses the plants rather than having any type of weapon. But the weapons themselves that they give us are actually really cool. And then next, of course, there is, as you saw, he comes with an alternate head. So this head here is molded on the Lords of Power Beastman head that we got, the sort of more yelly, screamy one. The downside to this one is they didn't put moss on it. I wish they had put moss on it because it feels a little out of place when you put it on the body that is all moss, but you can see they did mold in all the hair detail there. The mouth is molded in with the teeth painted and the mouth painted all black, and the eyes are painted there as well. And just like every other Origins figure, you just pull that one head off. All of the connections on here are very, very tight, at least on my copy. And so yeah, you can put that Beastman head on there, on him there. And yeah, you see what I mean? It feels a little bit out of place. Maybe if it was mossy, it wouldn't look as weird, but yeah, I'm gonna keep the other one on for sure. But while we have the head off, we might as well come in and throw on the chest armor, which is identical to the Beastman chest armor. And it uses just the standard sort of Master's clip system back there. And I put the regular head back on. But yeah, he has a chest armor as well as 2 armors that you can slap on there as well. All right, and once you put those 2 arm shoulder sections on there, he looks like this. And I will mention, if you are wondering as to why a Mossman comes with yellow armor, despite the fact that he has never usually worn armor in any of his appearances, well, the story I have heard and read about is that there was an accessory pack in the original 80s toy line that had this yellow armor in it. And a lot of kids at the time didn't know who it was supposed to go to, but since it was Beastman's armor and Mossman had Beastman's body and head sculpt, they threw it on Mossman. And I believe they even recreated that in Classics, if I'm correct, and they gave him this armor in Classics as well. So it makes its return here in Origins. I think it is a pretty solid look. I'm not usually going to be displaying him with armor pieces on because I prefer my Mossman to be a little more clean. So let's just go ahead and take those off. And then I will say, yes, the box did mention as well, he smells like pine. So everybody go ahead and turn on your smell-o-visions and give him a big ol' whiff. Yep, that's pine, all right. No, he actually does smell a little bit like pine, which is nice. The scent is a lot more strong on him than it ever was on Stinkor, so I'm glad they figured out the smell aspect of these toys. But that's enough about accessories. Let's go ahead and talk his Articulation. Really quick, it's standard origins, so nothing crazy here. Head is on a ball joint, goes all the way around, goes up that far, down that far. Arms go all the way around just like that. They go out that far, no swivel at the bicep, but there is elbow bend that goes a little less than 90, and they swivel at the elbow. All of the wrists do swivel and have hinges on them as well. Waist swivel there. Legs go forward that far. They go backward that far. They go out to the splits. Not very good. I'm going to give them like a 6. 6 on the splits. Origins figures have never been very good at the splits in particular, and the knees, of course, do have a bend at them that goes a little less than 90. They swivel there at the knee. They do have a swivel here in the shin. It's very well hidden amongst the moss, which is nice. And the feet go down and they go up and they pivot all the way around. So yeah, very, very standard for the Mossman articulation there, but it does the job and he looks great. So let's go ahead, speaking of looks, and see how he looks with a couple other figures. Here he is with your other standard Origins figures, exactly the same. You can see how he looks there with Fangor. For all my classics folks out there, here he is with your standard classics figure, this being Molar. And here he is with your standard Masterverse figure, this one being Vicron. I would love, honestly, if we got a new Eternia version of Mossman, because that old Revelations one just doesn't quite do it for me. I think he deserves a second chance in Masterverse. So what do you guys think? Just for fun, here he is with Studio Series Bumblebee. All right, so that's about gonna do it for Mossman. So let's go ahead and I don't know. I don't like that. Let's go ahead and take our way back up to me for my final mossy thoughts. So what are my final thoughts on Mossman here? Well, I mean, he's a great figure. I love this figure. He's so fun. I love the moss effect all over him. It's just really, really nice. The accessories that he comes with are cool. The packaging he comes with is great. But I can't forget to mention that this guy is terribly hard to find, at least in my part of the country. And Walmart exclusives in general are usually a little tougher to find, but I'm very glad that I do have one. I'm very thankful that I didn't have to pay scalper prices or just not have one entirely, but I'd be remiss without saying, yeah, he's hard to find. Plus, he is $40. Most of that probably is the actual Moss technique himself, so there are a couple downsides to the Mossman figure, unfortunately, but if you're able to grab one, I definitely think you should, because he's really solid. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my full review of Masters of the Universe Origins Mossman. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts on this figure down below. Let me know if you were able to find one. Was he easy to find in your area? Was he super impossible like me? Go ahead, tell me your Mossman story down below. And guys, without further ado, I've been your host, Deceptibot9. Thank you, as always, for joining me, and I will see you guys later.